Well, I was kind of hoping. I didn't give everyone tons of notice that I was going to do this. So I was hoping I was going to get a lot more questions. I sent it out on Reddit and a couple Facebook channels. I was hoping that people would be kind of requesting, hey, I got a question, got a question. But it might be more that I'm just going to do some tutorials, and then people are going to download it off Twitch or YouTube or something like that. So in the future, I will potentially try to do this on a weekly basis. I want to potentially try to do something different. Everyone has channels up of them just streaming and playing pinball and stuff like that, and I love doing it, but it's nice to give back to the community and kind of help with some things. So, I'm just checking my Reddit here to see if there was... Look at that. All these upvotes and no comments. So, so last minute, I wrote down some things that people might want to look at and might want to see. I don't know which... So I've got two pinball machines here. I've got my 60 hertz machine and my 120 hertz machine. I'm technically streaming off of... The direct feed is coming off of my older machine, which is my 60 hertz. And that wasn't an updated cabinet. So I'm running older software and I haven't touched it in a while to find out what's working, what's not working. So I may try to do these updates and stuff on the 120 hertz machine, the LE model. But then it's only going to be the webcam, not the webcam, well, whatever, the webcam that's going to be filming it. So I don't know how good the quality is going to look. But again, if I do something and someone wants to see it in more detail, then I can always reshoot a tutorial and stuff like that and try to make it better quality. This is more of a ad-lib, off-the-cuff kind of thing. So, what did I write down? First, let's get a drink. So, I've got some music streaming in the background. I've been told that Gunship is royalty-free, that you can stream it. If not, I guess I'm potentially going to get in trouble. I just wanted to have something in the background so people can hear it, or just so that it's not dead air, because no one wants to listen to me talk the whole time. So, mainly all the tutorials I'm going to have at the moment, because it's what I could think of, is going to be V-pin related. I do have main arcade cabinets. I just have the one set up at the moment. Let's see if I can get this. And the camera's nice and slow? Oh yeah, that's nice and dark. Let me turn the lights on for a second. And everyone can view the mess that is my basement workshop. Alright, so this is my cable's only so long for my machine. This is a vertical arcade cabinet, so that's if I'm doing anything with the main machine at the moment, that's what I would be showing it on. Basically, it works the same as every other cabinet. It's just that the screen is in a vertical orientation. What's nice about that is it's great for vertical perspective games, so your vertical shooters that are on your cocktail machines. It's good for like running like FX2 type of pinball and stuff, because it does that flipper things on the side. And it shows the dynamic bezels, so maybe I'll actually pull up a game. Because then at some point, if someone has a question and says, hey, how do you get dynamic bezels and stuff going on? It's so new, I don't even have all the controls hooked up. Let's turn off the lights again. Right, so you can see there on the vertical, let's see if we can see it. I think we can see it with the lights, the brightness. The vertical machine is set up so that you've got like a dynamic bezel. So I opened up the game 1943. I don't know how well you can see that, guys. Like I said, I wasn't planning on streaming arcade stuff necessarily. Let's see how close I can get. Getting closer, getting closer. Oh, I can get really close. Okay, so you can see, so that's all on one screen. It's 32 inches stretched vertically or turned vertically. So you can see that you've got your game as well as the dynamic marquee. So if I back out of the game, I'll do this so I can also stay off camera. Let's go to another vertical game, for example. We'll pull up 1942. So again, you can see that the marquee switched for 1942, and then it's got the vertical orientation of the screen there. But then, if you wanted to play regular games, let's go. I usually go to 88 games just to show it, I think. No, whatever. Just trying to pick a game that I know works. I haven't tried any of these. So this one, hopefully, look at that. Game doesn't even open. Let's go to something that works. X-Men, Children. X-Men versus Street Fighter. So this is a 4x3 game, a horizontal game if you want to call it that. So you can see that how this will load differently. Yeah. So now you can see, again, it's still got your marquee, but then it fills in the graphics here. It kind of makes it look like an arcade machine. Shows different arcade things. This is just the bezel that just happened to come with this game type thing. And then your gameplay is in the middle with its correct aspect ratio. So the screen is a little bit smaller on regular games, but it is in a correct aspect ratio. And then depending on the original arcade you were playing, it's really not that different in terms of size. But it's pretty cool that it fills the whole screen. And it does that as well if I go to, let's say, where's Nintendo? Let's do Sega Genesis. I should have made sure my system was running first. I literally just put this in. This is my vertical work in progress, vertical machine work in progress. So I haven't worked out any of the bugs. I literally just threw it in, called it a work in progress, and then I still have to go through and update everything. But anyways, so again, you can see here when I pull up a Sega Genesis game, it's in 4x3 mode, and then it's got bezels up and down below. Shows that it's a Sega Genesis, and then, you know, a whole bunch of a collage of games. I don't believe I have this one set up, even though I think you can. I don't think I have the console set up so that it changes with every, like, this happens to Sonic, but it's probably because he's the mascot of Sega. But it's not like it changes the box art for every specific game and changes that on the marquee. So anyways, you can just leave that running in the background. But if we have any main questions, it's probably going to be that machine that I'm going to be showing. So it's going to look a little bit different. But because that machine's a work in progress, it's great to show some stuff on there because it's potentially not done. So if someone wants to know about key mapping, using joy to key, again, depending on which post you read, it is a hyperspin build. So if questions are going to be coming in about Launchbox and stuff like that, I don't know how to use Launchbox. I've tried. Everyone says it's user-friendly. I'm used to Hyperspin. I've got bajillions of hours on Hyperspin. I can do it in my sleep. That's what I use. That's what I like. So that's what I have. And then as well, I literally today just installed Pinup Popper. Again, everyone says it's the best one out there. And it's kind of like Hyperspin in the sense that it's, in my opinion, it's complicated. But once you know it, it's just like learning a language. Once you know it, it's very, very easy. And you can do amazing things with it. You can make it do way more stuff than Pinball X, for example. Pinball X is what I started with. I've got tons of time on the emulator in the front end. Should just call it the front end. I've got tons of time on it, so I've got things set up mostly the way I want. Every time you add a new game, you got to get new media and stuff like that. But everything I want it to do, it does. Way more user-friendly, in my opinion. I know that might make some people angry, but it also could be because I know it so well, I feel like within 5 minutes, it's all set up, ready to go. Pinup Popper, I don't think is the same way, but I could be wrong. I'm just not as familiar with it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try it on here first. So the first thing that I kind of had on my list was to show people Altcolor, which if you aren't aware of it, let me just move some stuff here. So if you aren't aware of Altcolor, what is a ROM that I know does not have Altcolor? We'll try. Yeah, but then I gotta show one that does. Whatever. We'll give this a try. Like I said, it's ad lib. So if you have any questions, you can probably leave a comment on any of the Facebook posts that I posted. It should pop up on my phone. If you see that I posted on Reddit, you can press comment on there. If you happen to be watching the Twitch stream, which is the only way you know I'm talking to you, you can go in and you can type a message in the stream chat. Okay, so it looks like this one already has a color on. So, what Altcolor is we can see the dot matrix. Hold on, I don't know how I can point. Everyone knows what a dot matrix is. Anyways, the dot matrix is there. On a regular machine, if you haven't changed anything, it's probably going to show up and it's just going to be orange dots. What Altcolor does is it changes the colors, so you can see here that it's red and white. If we actually go into the machine, sorry, let me start a game. So if you start doing things where there's certain modes where the DMD would do something, yeah, so you can see there the doors spreading across are gray. So this one definitely has Altcolors changed. Let me see if I can pause. That might be something else that someone wants to see. Yandor, hey, first time chat from viewer. Thank you very much for the follow. I saw that you followed earlier. Thank you very much. So I'm going to write this down in case people want to see it. Pause. In VPX. So if that's something people want to see, so I've added the pause button to my machines, so you can press pause. It pauses the game. Kind of neat. Yes, yes, I am from Woodstock too. Awesome. Very cool. Woodstock, Ontario, or it could be somewhere else. There's lots of Woodstocks. I'm assuming you mean Woodstock, Ontario, though. Where am I going? So I'm on pause. I'm going to unpause. I don't care if the ball drains. F1. Okay, so if... Hey, Schultze. Let's fucking go. How do we build a V-pin? From scratch. Rob, what I'm going to do is, we're 16 minutes in. By the time I'm done, I will show people from scratch how to build a V-pin. I promise. Hello from France. I can show. So part of this, I don't know if my... Let me put the lights on for a sec. Altcolor, that's where I am. Remind me, I'll get back to it. Let me see if... I don't think my cable's going to reach. But in the future... Again, I might do this every Thursday, we'll see. So you can see here that I've got a bunch of cabs that are hiding my wine. Ignore the empty wine glass. I was thirsty while I work. So I've got a bunch of empty cabinets here, so potentially, not that I can show building it from scratch per se, but if people say, hey, how do I install surround sound feedback? I use a lot of Zebsboard's products, so like Zebsboard's plunger, shaker motor. Wonder if I can show that stuff. Let's see. Can't really zoom in. Maybe. Let's see how that goes. Anyways, I got empty cabinets, so you can see that there's a motor in there. You can see some surround sound feedback and stuff. So if people are saying, hey, how do I get surround sound feedback working? How do I install a Zebsboard plunger or shaker motor and stuff like that? I definitely can do tutorials on that. I have arcade one-up machines, one watt with Raspberry Pi. Awesome. Yeah, haven't really ever. So I physically touched a one-up machine. Haven't really played it or tried to mod it. Never really got into it because I was building these before that ever came out. So this is just where I spent my time. Hey, let's turn these lights off again. If you have a question, pop it into the chat. Oh yeah, so Rob was asking, this is a great question. So Rob was asking before if you can get Pis to save high scores. So I can on my main machine. If people are having problems saving on main machines, there is a process to do it if you haven't done it before. So I can definitely go through that if people want. One day when I get rich, I'm going to buy one of yours. So if you do know if you can save on Pi, people would want to know. Again, my specialty is not in Raspberry Pis. I'll try to talk slower, guys. I've been drinking. Okay, Altcolor. So, when you have your VPN up and running, VPX, okay, let's do a little bit of a step back. There are two basic programs when running Visual Pinball. You've got your front end, again, which I use as Pinball X, and you've got the actual, let's call it an emulator, which is Visual Pinball, or VPX, Visual Pinball 10. So when you're in Visual Pinball 10, what you're going to want to do is, if you hit F1 on your keyboard, and this does not pop up. You can see it on my main playfield there, or I'm tapping my glass. If that does not pop up, what you have to do is you have to go into your video settings and click on remove the check mark from exclusive full screen. Even though my exclusive full screens are probably on, it still pops up. So I don't know if that's mandatory, but remove exclusive full screen if you can't get this to pop up. I should probably be showing this on my other machine. Hold on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to back out. Hopefully I don't close. Okay, I'm going to close Pinball X. Streamlabs is still going. This is open because when I have my internet on, I disable Windows Update. That stops updates from happening. Okay, now I'm going to open Visual Pinball X. So this is now just running the back end, okay? Whoops. And then I'm going to reopen my table. Terminator 2. So again, Altsound is already running on this. Do your V-pins save the high score? Yes, the V-pins save your high scores. I'm sure there is something, I know you were mentioning that yours just magically reset. I'm sure there's something that can happen to make the stuff disappear. And I'm not an expert. I think it's saved in the NVRAM files, I think. So if you are copying your table over from, let's say, VPin 1 to VPin 2, and you want to make sure you save your high scores, there is a folder that you can copy over and your high scores will copy from one to the other. I'm just not 100% sure of the file, but I think it's the NVRAMs. But yes, they do save. So it's kind of a 2 or 3 step process. Step number 1 of getting the alt colors to work is you're going to want to make sure, I can't point, I can try to point. You can see on this, I'm looking at the window that popped up here, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So this is your ROM options, I believe it's called. So it's going to say colorize DMD 4 colors. Step number 1, you're going to want to make sure that that's ticked. Okay? Yeah, this is on a per game basis. You know what? Let's step back once. Let me close this. I might have gotten ahead of myself. C drive, visual pinball, VPin main, setup. Okay, you actually want to set up your VPin main ROMs first. So if you go to, I don't know if I did that too fast. If you're in your visual pinball folder, in the VPin main folder, there's a setup and a setup 64 file. Okay? If you've already set up visual pin main, you would have had to have done this already. So I'm probably not looking at anything new. Setup defaults. So this is saying by default, this is what you want it to be. And click on colorize ROMs. Okay? This then makes it by default, everything will be colorized unless you tell it not to. Right? So that will allow you to just take a whole bunch of colorized ROMs, dump them all in the proper folders, and then when you go and play the game, they'll just magically pop up like they're there. Okay? So if you do this first, colorize DMD ROM, colorize DMD 4 colors. What I did, personal preference, was I changed these all so you can see that it says, hey, make it 4 colors. So even if you have a table, a DMD, that isn't colorized, they haven't come out with a color for it yet, you can make it different colors. Like you can change it to red, white, blue, and black. So then I'm sure it has, it's not random, but it kind of randomizes the ROM colors that the numbers are white and the text that goes around it is blue. So you can change those. I don't mind the default orange and black. So I've said, hey, change everything so that it's just orange and black. Right? So if you don't have anything, if you don't have a colorized ROM, make it look like basically how I had it before, which is just black and orange. Then you go back into your game, and if it wasn't set up, you make sure that it's ticked. So after it's ticked, you're going to know, so even if you don't have a table that has a colorized ROM, you're going to know if it worked because you're going to notice the colors have changed. Especially if you haven't changed it to like I did where you just have it orange, 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 black. You might not then, but if you go to by default, it changes it to like red and white and stuff like that, you would notice. because this will most likely come up all white. So now you know that it's got color, okay? So that's, let's call it step 1, step 2. Then the next step is you're going to need to go, you have to forgive me, I don't know the names of the sites off the top of my head. vPinball is down, so wherever you go to get visual pinball files, I can't remember the name anymore. Now I'm struggling to find out. So then what you need to do is actually download the file, Altcolor. Okay, so in your visual pinball, vPinMain folder, you will have to create or already have a folder called Altcolor, which I'm going to go into. Hopefully this is fairly big that you can read it. Those machines are beautiful, thank you. So all your tables will save high scores. Yes, Schultz, they will all save high scores. As long as your scores are high enough. So you might struggle. So maybe even with MAME, this is what you notice. You can't set high scores. I'm just joking. I'm ripping on him. He's my buddy. But maybe your scores are just not high enough, so it doesn't save it. Maybe that's it. I could be wrong, but maybe that's it. So Altcolor, what will happen is you'll end up downloading these folders. You'll download a file. Generally, you have to rename them. So when you download them from, I'm just going to call it vPinball, wherever it is that you download it. So for this one, AFM_113B, most likely you'll download 2 files. There's files, there'll be a .pal and a .vni, and they might have it named Attack from Mars, or they might have it AFM113. You need to name them all the same. So they need to be called pin2dmd.pal and pin2dmd.vni. And then you have those in a folder called the exact same name as what the ROM file is. vPin Universe, thank you. That's one of them. I think I actively use 2. I think there's also Pinball Nirvana, which I've never been to. But then that's basically it. So you download the files, you make sure you extract the files to a folder called, for example, Attack from Mars. You look for Attack from Mars. Actually, let's do this. T2_L8. So that's how I know there's a file for Terminator 2. So you might say, well, how do I know what to name that file? That is a great question. Sometimes they tell you. Sometimes you'll go into your visual pinball, you'll open up the script, and then you can search through the script. There is a search you can put in. I'm not going to remember what it is. I'm going to type game. I think it's game constant. There we go. Game name? No. If someone knows, let me just see. Actually, I can do this. Control F, T2 underscore. Where's underscore? Yeah, constant game name. There we go. So if you search for this field, constant or const C game name, if you just type in C game name, that's going to find it. So here it is that tells you what the name of your ROM is, T2_18. So that's how you know what you want to name this folder. Let's say we downloaded T2. So T2_L8, that's the name of your folder. Inside it, and then these names are the same. So you'll notice that if I go into, that's a Star Wars one, that's not going to work because they're not named properly. So let's do this. I'm going to copy the name of that folder. I'm going to go into it. I'm going to rename that file. That's a stupid move. Let's do this. So pin2, that's what we want. Pin2dmd. Back out. Star Wars. F2, Control V. F2, Control V. Now if I go into this Star Wars, before it would not work, I can guarantee you now it will work because now I've named it properly. So I probably downloaded a whole bunch of these and then didn't actually test, hey, does this one work? Hey, does this one work? But you can see I've got the ROM name, I've got the majority of these you can see are correct, and then they're titled C game name, CG name. Awesome, Nest 78, that's what it is. Perfect, thanks for the help. So that's the Altcolor. That's just the first thing I had written down as a tutorial. If you can't get it from that, shoot me a message and I can definitely make a better video tutorial. Again, that was kind of just off the top of my head. There are tutorials on the internet. What I try to do is if I'm making someone a tutorial, literally it's a video, click here, click here, click here. This is exactly what I'm doing. Because then it's pretty foolproof. You press exactly what I press, type exactly what I type, and it'll work. So while I'm there, the next thing is Altsound. So just so you know, Altsound is the exact same thing as Altcolor. You're going to do pretty much the same method almost. You're going to make a folder, it's called Altsound. You're going to download the Altsound files and you're going to put it, again, Attack from Mars, AFM_113B. You're going to put it in there. So let's load up, because I don't know if I have this loaded. Let's go File, Close. I'm going to open up Attack from Mars. File. Sorry, I put my head in the middle of the playfield here. Close. Control open. Attack from Mars. Okay, let's turn my sound on. Let's see if I can mute the TV for a quick second. No, so this is what happens. So, like I said, this machine, I should be showing this on my other machine. So this one, in case anyone's wondering, you open up the first game, it's fine. You open up the second game, Visual Pinball X freezes. I found that that happens when I don't do a fresh install of VPX. When this might just be an issue with me. That if I don't do a fresh install of VPX, when I do a brand new hard drive, let's call it, it doesn't let me open up Visual Pinball more than once. End task. You know what? I'm trying to make things nicer. Let's go. Frick. No, I'll just do it on this one. I just opened it up the second time. Attack from Mars. So it's a little bit annoying. That's why, like I said, I have to pretty much flash this whole hard drive again. We'll hit F5. We'll see if my stuff is working. Hopefully this machine doesn't blow up in my face. So I don't know how well I'm going to be able to hear it. So I'm going to hit F1 again. Again, so what Altsound is that it's an alternate sound package. So it's just, people have redone the sounds. Maybe certain ROM callouts sound terrible, or they just suck. So someone has created Altsound. Perfect. So let me hit cancel. Okay, so we will try to listen to this. I don't have my sounds on, other than the ROM sounds. We'll see if we can get some callouts. So basically what we want to hear is, how does this sound? And then we're going to change the sound package. So I'm thinking it's going to be some of these callouts. Okay, so I can tell you, so now that I've built my 120 hertz pin, and now I'm playing on this one, like, oh yes, I can tell the difference between 60 hertz and 120 hertz. It just took a while of me playing the 120, and then it's like, yikes, yeah, there's a difference between 60 and 120. Okay, F1, we are going to, let's see, I don't think I can use my mouse. What we're going to do is we're going to tab over to sound mode 0 to 3. You're going to change that to a 1. That initiates the alt sound. We're going to hit OK. So usually you just have to reset. You might be able to just hit F3 to reset the ROM. With mine, again, on this machine, I got to close the whole frickin' thing out, open up Visual Pinball again. But I'm hoping now, I don't have egg on my face, I'm hoping that when we turn this on, we hear something different. But even if we don't, that's how it works. Maybe this one doesn't have that many differences. But let's see. Let's turn this up. Pretty quiet. I already heard it. So this one has a pup pack, which is hard because some of the sounds are off from the pup pack. Oh yeah, different for sure. So depending on your pack, some of the stuff might be subtle. It could just be the sounds of, like I said, different callouts or different things like that. I don't know for sure. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it affects the things like your SSF, like your surround sound. So I don't know if it's sound. Oh, well, it's also changed the sounds of the flippers. It's changed the sounds of the, the slingshots and stuff like that. I'm not 100% sure. Creature from the Black Lagoon, it is blatantly obvious. You'll find things on like Tommy and you know maybe I could. Anyways, I don't want to bore you with it. But like with Tommy, well, you have different sound packs for games too. Yeah, so let's call it like a user mod. So like you can change, like people will change the game or in different things. Well, you guys know what mods are. Maybe they, you know, if you owned your own personal machine, hey, I want to put sunglasses on the aliens or something. It's kind of the same thing with Altsound. It's just a different sound pack. Cheech and Chong, it's blatantly obvious too. You know, there's certain callouts. I don't remember if, you know, if people are around back in the day. If you're as old as me, maybe you did all these things back with Doom back in the day. You'd have Doom mods and stuff like that. So yeah, you would make, you know, like there was like the chicken rocket launcher and stuff like that. So A, you could change the look of the rocket launcher, but then also the sound of it, instead of the sound of a rocket coming out, it was the sound of a chicken. So same kind of thing here. People don't normally do, let's call them silly mods in terms of the sound. Like for example with Tommy, instead of, let's call it like a MIDI sound where there's no singing, it's just like the sound of the song in the background. It'll actually change it to, let's call it like the MP3 music. Same thing with, like another one that's just so much better is the Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses, the stock sound sucks. Sucks, my opinion. It's terrible. And then you get the alt sound and you're like, oh, okay, Welcome to the Jungle actually sounds decent and not terrible. But yeah, anyone in chat, does anyone have a specific question they want to ask? Because I think the next thing on my list, I don't have a ton of exciting stuff because, like I said, I thought, or I was hoping, I'd mostly be answering questions, so I'm doing more troubleshooting stuff versus Cactus Canyon Altsound is great. I am going to, let's see if I can show my other pin. I'm going to see if I have it. Let's see, I just got to wait for my screen to refresh. Okay, if I close this, and open this, and then go to C drive, visual pinball, Pinman, Altsound, Cactus. Okay, so I don't have Cactus Canyon. I think I had way more on my other one. I don't have Cactus Canyon on there. I was just going to check, because if I do, then I would put that one on. Let's put that back. Yeah, so I think my next step in terms of upgrading my machines, I'm going to go through and see if I can download a whole bunch of alt sounds. Because there was some post on one of the visual pinball groups. I forget what he was doing. Hook is another one that I know has an alt sound. He was just going through, hey, this is the difference between these two machines with and without the alt sound installed. So I wanted to go through and download a couple, find out which one I like. Again, it's if you have a visual pinball machine, it's how much time do I spend tinkering versus actually playing. I'm a lot more of a player, but tinkering is fun too. Dialing it in, making it all your own, right? That's why people really, really like the popper front end, because there's no end to the customization, which is, it's a pro and a con. It's for people that really, really like to tinker with their stuff and really, really dial it in and make it their own. There's a lot of people that, graphic designers, they custom make their own, and hey, I'm the only one that has this theme and stuff, and it looks really cool, and then people get jealous. Okay, drink time. Let's put the music back on in the background. Okay, so the next thing I had, adding tables. So for people who find it difficult to add tables, it's not as hard as it seems. I didn't have time to prep and stuff. Actually, I don't think. You know what? Let's see. If I close this out, I have a folder called New Tables. Cheech-a-chong. What do I have on here? Pack of Liar, Willy Wonka Pro. Okay, I'm almost positive I don't have Willy Wonka Pro on this cabinet at the moment. So, okay, what if you wanted the original sounds on the tables, all the packs custom to whoever designed them? Popper is way better in my opinion. What if you wanted the original sounds on the tables? So by default, if I'm getting your question right, Rob, by default, it's the original sounds, because the sounds come straight from the ROM chip, as far as I know. So they're taking a hardware, all the sound is programmed in hardware into the ROM chip. And then when people, you know, extract the ROM and stuff like that, and you download this ROM file, all the sounds are already baked into that. So by default, you have the original sounds. Because I'm not a pinball snob and stuff, I don't know why they started creating Altsounds. I think it's because either certain ROM sounds just sound terrible. Some of them aren't, let's call it licensed. So even though Welcome to the Jungle, Guns N' Roses, like obviously it's a licensed table, it's Guns N' Roses machine and stuff, but the sound is just not good. Like I don't even think, okay, so for example, Guns N' Roses, it's literally just the music. It's like they've taken the voice out. So it's only if you change, correct. It's original to start with, but then if you went to, let's say, the Guns N' Roses one and changed the alt sound, well now you're actually hearing Axl sing. So someone might say, I enjoy that better. Like then it's actually I'm hearing the song versus just the background music looping. You know what I mean? So that's why alt sounds are there. Again, I think it's because some sounds just sounded terrible. Some were just like ones like with, you know, Twilight Zone. So Twilight Zone, for example, has the music of the Twilight Zone table, do 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 do, but it's not music from the Twilight Zone. So if you download the Twilight Zone alt sound, it's actually that 80s retro kind of song, I'm slipping into the Twilight Zone. Well, is that really from the Twilight Zone? No, but it's got the word Twilight Zone in it, so someone put it in there, and it's a cool song. So again, it's to each their own. If you like it, great. If not, don't. Popper is way better in my opinion. I think it's a better front end. I don't think there's a lot of debate that Popper is the better front end. And I might irk some people, but I think Hyperspin is a million times better than Launchbox, Big Box. It's what you get used to. Like I said, I think Hyperspin is the Popper of MAME machines in that it's way more open and way more changeable, that you can do literally anything, but it's for the people that like to tweak and like to customize. Whereas if someone's downloading CoinOps or something like that, or RetroPie, I just want to flash an image, whatever I get, I'm happy with. I don't want to change it. I don't want to tweak it. That's kind of the same with Pinball X. There's not really themes. It's like you're not getting a different wheel bar and stuff like that, but you can still do a lot of the same things. You can still have animated wheel art. You can still have video backglasses and stuff. It's just not as dramatic and customizable. Pinball X is also more user-friendly, not user-friendly. It's friendlier for people that don't have blazingly fast computers, because with Popper, you've got, I don't even know how many, you might have 7 or 8 layers on it, all running potentially 4K videos. Do you know what I mean? Like it really bogs down a CPU if you don't have a decent CPU. So if you're on a budget and you're budget building, I don't recommend Popper. I'd be recommending Pinball X. Unless you want to just dumb your videos down to like 420p or something like that. I don't think 420. 420? 470? Whatever. What was I doing? Willy Wonka Pro. Okay, so if you are downloading a table from scratch, what I'm going to show you is basically just how to get the table up and running. It's not installing all the media and stuff, because again, if you use Popper versus Pinball X, you're downloading different media, you're putting it in different folders and stuff like that. But basically, you're going to go to the VPN Universe or some of the other sites, and you're going to end up downloading a file. Sometimes the table comes with a backglass, the folder, the download. Sometimes the download comes with a backglass, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the backglasses are baked in, so if you got like a Scotty Wick table, they kind of, those are more Popper tables, but they're usually baked into it. There's not a B2S file as well. But I'll show you how easy this is. Basically, Willy Wonka Pro. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to my tables folder, which everyone might have a different target, but mine's C, Visual Pinball, Tables. I'm in Tables. I'm going to hit Paste. It's already there. We're going to replace it anyways, because I don't really like this table, I think. Okay, so as of now, I don't have the backglass. I don't know if this table has or needs a backglass, but it's pretty much the same process. Put the table in your tables folder, and that's almost all there is to it. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to run it first. So usually what I do is I'll download the table first, and then I'll Control-O. Again, I'm streaming from my pin that's not near set up, so Willy Wonka Pro. My new machine works that much better because I've been tweaking it. Okay, so I've got the table open. Sometimes I might, on the first time around, I'll look in the script. because some of the newer tables actually have really cool options in the scripts, and you can set those things first. Some of them are really, really basic. This one off the top of my head looks pretty basic so far. Hard mode, so you can change that. Do you want to make the game harder or easier? Change this to switch out rock music. Change this to one to switch out background music with rock and Irish tunes. I don't want rock and Irish tunes, I want the original music. You can set some volume, sound effects volume, callouts. I'm going to turn on Ultra DMD. Hopefully I've got that installed. So even if it doesn't have a backlash, we should have a DMD pop up. Hopefully. Cross my fingers. So I run the table in the background, like the just VPX first, because, see, errors. Ultra DMD, user files, directory Z, visual fields, Willy Wonka, Ultra DMD does not exist. Okay. So I wonder if it's going to still let me play. So that error that popped up, by the way, if you're downloading a table, I wonder if I can show you this in the background. If you're downloading a table that's built for Ultra DMD, then usually the folder will also, or the file will also come with something like this. You can see these files here. So Wizard of Oz, for example, woz.ultradmd. So within there, it has all these files that are specifically for the Ultra DMD. Most games don't have that. Very few games use Ultra DMD. And the ones that do, I don't think are all that spectacular anyways. So usually I'll go through, I'll test the game. Hey, does the game work? Does it look okay? Does it play okay? Is it worth adding to my machine? Different people have different opinions on pinball tables. There are some games that people absolutely love and other people hate. So this one, I installed it briefly on my newer machine. My main complaint with this one, and I hope I don't tick off the authors because that's not the point, but the apron art is super low resolution, where the table is not. So it's like, it's got a... Okay, some of the tables, low resolution too, the apron. Yeah. So it probably just is that they weren't able to get a 4K scan of the apron and stuff yet, and the board, so maybe someone hasn't like completely taken theirs out and put it in, but the apron and stuff. Does it play good? Potentially. I have not played this game at all. I don't know anything about it. This is a Jersey Jack machine, so I haven't seen it in real life, but it seems to be playing good, and it seems okay, so I'm like, okay, I'll add this to my machine. No, I don't want to save. So depending on what front end you use, again, because I'm using Pinball X, I'm going to go to my Pinball X folder, I'm going to go to Settings, nope, I'm going to go to Game Manager. So because Willy Wonka is probably created after I downloaded this database file, it's probably not going to be in this list. So then I just go Add New Game, Select, and I'm going to type in W for Willy Wonka, and then I'm going to find it. So if you wanted to just play it by going into Visual Pinball, all you literally had to do was download that table, put it in your tables folder. If you want to show it, if you want it to show up in your front end, then this is what you click. If it's a legitimate, let's call it a legitimate game, that has a ROM attached to it, then most likely all this stuff would pre-populate for you. So I'm just type in Willy Wonka Pro, and I'm just going to put this in here. And I'm going to type 2017, and I'm going to type, and I'm going to say JJ for Jersey Jack. Okay? I'm going to close. I'm going to hit yes to save. And then I'm going to go into Pinball X, and then we're going to see that it's going to be in my front end, and I'll even show you that it will boot up from my front end as well. UVW, it's probably going to be, we're going to see it pretty easily because none of this stuff is here. So it's here, it's in there, we're going to be able to play it, but what's missing is all the media. So this is my wheel art, it's missing, playfield's missing, DMD is missing, or top, or whatever you want to call that, and then also the back box is missing. But if we run it, and while that's loading, I'm going to have a drink. Oh, it's probably, it might show up a, so far it's not showing an error message. Yeah, I got an Ultra DMD message show up. So I'm obviously missing something. I'm missing the backlash and stuff because nothing's there. But yeah, there it goes. What I was going to say, potentially we'll see points start to go up, maybe. If I do anything that gives me points. Maybe not. Yeah. Yeah, so there's stuff that's points. So I'm missing media and stuff like that, but long story short, the table is now installed into my front end that I can play. But then this table I would have to look, because again, maybe I didn't know and maybe it didn't come in the same download pack, but it's like, well, why is this missing stuff? So I'm most likely missing an Ultra DMD folder, and potentially some sort of backlash. If it's Scotty Wick, it's most likely a pup pack that I'm missing, but it could just be a B2S file as well. I doubt it. I'm almost confident. Could be the same as Wizard of Oz, so maybe not. It's a pup pack table. Perfect. Thank you, Nesta. Yeah, so it's a pup pack table, so I'm most likely missing. That just come out of nowhere? Those rainbows in the cups. Yeah, so you would have to... B2S is only for ROM-based. Perfect, that's a good point. It's obvious now that you say it. Yeah, so the pup pack, again, because this is a Jersey Jack machine, and it's not like they ripped the ROM on it and stuff like that, Scotty Wick, and who else built this machine, would have built it into a pup pack. Okay, let's just close that down and reopen it. Oh, because that was in my front end. Perfect. So that is Altcolor, Altsound, and adding tables. Surround sound feedback with APO. Just found media sitting on a VP universe. Awesome. Yeah, so normally what I do, and this is the whole always constantly updating. So basically I'll download a table, especially ones that just come out, because they usually go through a lot of revisions and stuff like that. Usually I'll download a table and see if it's quote-unquote worth it having on the machine. And then if it is, then if it didn't come in the pack, then I'll go and look for like the different media, the wheel art and stuff like that. Popper. So this is, again, I was just working with Popper today, but PBX does it as well, where you can like record your gameplay and stuff like that you can put in for your table videos. So some of these, like if I went into them, they might be really, really bad videos for table videos and stuff like that, so you might choose to redo your own. I think you can put them on batch processing and stuff like that, or you can just do it as a one at a time type of thing if you're missing something. That is something that I heard Popper is really, really good for. It does have a media, I don't know what they call it, media server. So if you're in Popper, and for example, I'm missing the table video for this, then literally it says, hey, you're missing the table video for this file. And you can just click on it, it connects to the Popper server, and it says, here's 7 different versions of the playfield video. Which one do you want to see or which one do you want to download? I'm pretty sure you can even preview it. That's completely awesome. I think with Pinball X, I have a GameX account. I think you can connect to the GameX account and basically do the same thing. It might not be as user-friendly. I've honestly never done it that way anyways. I've just downloaded all my media kind of one by one. I think when I first started, maybe I found some packs with media into it and just a whole bunch of different ones. But so generally when I go through, and every once in a while I'm just like, hey, I'm going to go and spend 4 or 5 hours or whatever it is. I'm just going to go and flip through every table. Which one am I missing stuff for? Is there anything good? Is there anything not good? Is there stuff that's missing? And then I just go and write it all down and fill the stuff. But that's why I kind of want Popper open, because then I want to be able to at least download the media from the Popper server so I can get it easier. I will most likely be converting over to Popper at some point. It's just everything is working as is. It's kind of like if it ain't broken, don't touch it, but I want to move over to it at some point. I just haven't gotten to it. So any other specific questions? I think the next thing on my list was, I wrote down Flex DMD. That's not super exciting. But there is, let me even see if I have it on here before I go and say, hey, let's look at this. It is in visual. So what I'm looking at, there is Ultra DMD that we just saw. The pin name, I think. Flex Ultra DMD. Yeah, I don't think I have it installed. Maybe I do. So there is a, let's call it a new version. So Ultra DMD is old, Flex DMD is new, Flex DMD is better, everything about it is better. But they can kind of like work in tandem with each other. If you have Ultra DMD installed and then you install Flex DMD, basically everything that was Ultra DMD just gets converted to Flex DMD. And what Flex DMD is, it's just, let's call it more user-friendly and high resolution, I guess. Like you can set the, does it even tell you in here? Ultra DMD setup, full color. Oh, Flex DMD. So maybe that's a demo of Flex DMD. Ultra DMD, run. Fade in, fade out. Okay, whatever. Basically, it's just an upgraded version. It can get way more dots in it and stuff like that. So you can have like a high res and a low res version of it. So basically, it's a dot matrix. It's not rocket science. If you have 8x32, you only have so many pixels to turn on and off at once. Whereas if you have, I don't know what Flex DMD does. I don't know if it's going to tell me. I don't know. 128 by 32, I think, is one of them. So you can just have more dots, and more dots makes a better picture. So you can, it's just, it's like going from 1080p to 4K. You just throw more pixels at something, it just looks better. So that's a Flex DMD upgrade. So if someone wants to see that, I can show how to install it and stuff like that. Again, this was kind of last minute in terms of, hey, what tutorials do I want to do and stuff like that. So if anyone has any requests, actually, I'm just going to check my phone because I heard a whole bunch of dinging. Maybe someone has questions. I'll find out. Let's turn the music back on, too. I don't know what happened with music. Video pause. Keep watching. Sure. No, I don't think that's my... There we go. Back to my free music, I think. Maybe on another day I'll show, because I'll try and have a better setup. When I streamed to YouTube, was it YouTube, Facebook? I think I was streaming to my Facebook. It worked really, really well. It was super high definition and stuff like that. So at some point I want to be able to do a side-by-side comparison. Here's 120 hertz versus a 60 hertz. With this setup, I'm sure it would suck. I can try and do it, because I don't know what else to do at the moment. Let's do that. So one thing that I have to look at, though, there is a slight difference. So the two differences between my Premium and my LE, whoops, I didn't mean to go into that. Technically, it's also a better video card. So some of it was like, hey, there's a little bit less stutter, or it seems to be playing smoother. Part of that could be because it's a better video card. So the better test is if you're using the exact same computer and everything is the same except for the monitor. That would be a better test, but at the moment I can't do that. Where do I want to go? I wanted to go to Monster Bash, just because. Monster Bash. And this is only a 60 hertz. Like my capture cards and stuff like that are only at 60 hertz or frames per second. I think my webcam's only 60 frames per second, so I don't know how much difference it's going to catch. But let's see, are we viewing? Yeah, this is going to be, I don't think I'm going to be able to compare this too well for you guys. But if I go, hold on, let's not care if I drain, function F9. Yeah, so you can see this in the top left, maybe super small. If you can look in the top left of the playfield, it's kind of locked at 60 frames per second. Whereas if I go to function F9, yeah, whereas on my other one it's, let's see, we're going to try and use the direct capture for one. and we're going to try and use the webcam for the other. Let's see. You know what? Hold on. I'm just going to try a different view here. Let's see. Is this locked? This is locked. So I'm also just dealing with the stream delay, so I'm trying to see how this looks. And then I have to wait 6 seconds to see how it looks. But I don't know. How does that look, guys? We'll see. Okay, let's launch a ball. You can tell me if it's a decent playing angle or if I should switch it. I'm literally basically humping my camera right now. So you'll definitely not be able to see this, but it's showing 120, well, 119, 120 frames per second. The other thing I can potentially do, let's see. If I go function F9, let me see if it lets me pull up more. It does. So let's do this test. So I'm hitting my left flipper. It's saying input lag 1.92, 1.5. Let's call it like 2 milliseconds-ish. Maybe my average. Function F9. Yeah, 60 hertz. Man, it's showing lower on average. I don't know how much of a difference that makes, or how much difference a millisecond makes. Probably not much, but technically, it's showing that my input lag on the other one is less. Again, so I'll play a ball on the 120, then I'll play a ball. You know what if I do this? Playing with the camera held between my legs at the moment. So again, because this is 120 hertz and I'm filming at 60 frames per second, I don't know how it's coming across. The ball is moving smooth as butter on my screen from what I can see. Alright, and now let's try this other one. So I've had multiple customers come over and test the machines, and they haven't played either. And both of them swear that they can see the difference on the 120 hertz machine. And I said, I cannot. But it's because my brain got used to the 60 hertz machine. Now that I've been basically only been playing my 120 hertz machine for the past week or so, and especially been playing Monster Bash, like, there's definitely a difference. I don't know if it's technically making me play better because the maybe the input lag is less, or your flippers are going faster or something, but visually, the ball in visual pinball, it just moves around so fast. Like if you think of the size of your screen, 43 inches, and if you're going around in orbit or something like that, like you're probably covering 100 inches or so in a fraction of a second. That, in my opinion, is enough that you're going to notice, I don't want to call it ball tear, but you notice that there's some frames missing if you're only seeing 60 frames in a second, right? Because the ball's just traveling 100 plus inches, and it's doing that in a quarter of a second. So, it's kind of just math. You can only see so many frames at a time. And I know they say the human eye can only see 24 frames or whatever that is, but I don't know. 120, yes, it's definitely a lot smoother than the 100 or than the 60 hertz. Depending on what type of hardware you put in and what the stupid GPU prices are and stuff like that, like obviously there's a price point difference in it as well. Hey, do I think it's enough of a price point difference that it makes sense? That's obviously, that's up to each user and stuff like that. And it's always something like, you can always upgrade that stuff later, right? Like it doesn't have to be 120 hertz right out of the hop. You can upgrade your screens later. Like well, people know with main caps too and virtual pinball machines, like they're customizable. You can change things out. If you want to add a shaker motor, you can add shaker motors later. If you want to add, you change out your flippers to leaf switches. You want to, you know what I mean? Like all that stuff you can change around. Just like a real pinball machine, you can, if you want to mod it, you can mod it. Like you're not obviously putting toys on it and stuff, but lots of stuff you can do with virtual pinballs and the arcade machines too, to mod them to your own personal preference as well. Same thing with the arcade machines. Like most arcade games, people that played arcades, they played retro games. So you're playing games that are 20 odd years old. You need a stupid slow computer to play all those things, and it's going to play just fine. But then someone might say, well, I want to have a Bluetooth controller and I want to play PS3 while standing in front of a stand-up arcade machine. I'll never do it. To each their own. You can. So, you know, you just put in a better computer, or if you're building your own, you just start from scratch and put in a really, really good computer. Because, you know, I don't know what kind of video card you put in, a 3090, just so you can play PS4 games on it. And then sit on your couch in front of an arcade and play it. Oh, I didn't check. See if there was messages. That's not it. Like suppose, so I have to get my pin. Let's see what this guy says. I have to get my real pin. Ah. Good question. Sorry guys, taking a sales break. Awesome. So, no questions from the internet at the moment. Not shocking. I've got a whole 3 followers on my YouTube channel or my Twitch channel, so that's not too shocking. But hopefully I do this more and more. If I'm not going to get a lot of questions, there's only so much stuff I can do tutorials on and stuff like that, but like I said, I do like giving back to the community, teaching. Maybe my next thing, honestly, it's going to be like a hardware one. I'll not even really show my V-pins. It's going to be more of the hardware stuff, like, hey, how do you install a shaker motor and get it working? How do you install, you know, a Zeb's light bar and get it working? How do you do a plunger and stuff like that? And I can kind of go through some of the hardware aspects of it. I'm obviously not going to show how to build an entire virtual pinball machine, or else I put myself out of business, but does anyone have a question on, where do I go, my profile, comments? Downvote. Rush. Perfect. I have a whole pile of questions, but I feel like I need a machine in front of me. Fair enough. And again, like I said, it was tutorial and troubleshooting. Like a lot of the troubleshooting stuff is going to be more for people that are, hey, I've already got one of these things. Like, let's say someone happened to be watching and they're like, oh shit, I can't get Altsound to work to save my life. You know, then I'm literally on, almost holding their hand. Hey, let's try this. Press this button, where are you? Download this file. I could show them, hey, this is the actual files you have to download and stuff like that. Like, literally, if someone had a question, I'd hold their hand through the whole process and get it up and getting it working, right? If you don't currently own a machine, then it's more just tell me about stuff, you know, like show me different things that can be done. That's why I kind of wanted to show Altsound and Altcolor, to show that even though it's not a physical machine, there are still modifications you can do to it. Hey, you know what? Not that I'm going to tutorialize, because that's a word, but I can show off a feature that doesn't exist on real pinball machines, which is this right here, which is called Pup Packs Pinup Player. So Pinup Popper is a front end, and Pinup Popper, it's basically a front end. What it's doing, it's just overlaying a whole bunch of videos on top of it. and you can customize every single layers of video to make things look cool. So you can see, I don't know how well this is going to point, but where it says Monster Bash, Williams, It's Alive on the back glass. I'm dealing with lag on the stream. So on the back glass, that's one layer. So it's got, you know, it kind of looks like a TV and stuff that's over there. Okay, that's one layer. And then it's got a video going in the back. But we can see when we start the game, whoops, I had 2 players. I can hit the skill shot. And what to do, it shows a video of a dude shooting something and it says skill shot. Right? Or you hit this. Let's do something. Mosh pit award, right? Because I just hit the mosh pit. Ball lost, and dude jumps out the window and kills himself, right? So these are what are called pup packs. Not every single table has a pup pack, and not every table that has a pup pack is worth downloading. So it's kind of the same thing as like the Altsounds. You might just like staring at the normal back glass because maybe that's what you like, right? Some of them are good, some of them are just terrible. I won't mention certain ones, but it might just be literally like, it just recycles clips of, like, let's say it's a concert. I don't know, I'm making this up. Don't even know if it exists, but Guns N' Roses. But imagine instead of going through and hitting the skill shot, like, all it does is, like there, it actually pops up and says skill shot. So you know you did something. Whereas, again, I'm just making up the Guns N' Roses one, it just pops up and it's a picture of Axl Rose. And then that's done, and then it goes to the next one, and then you hit the next one, and it's just like, oh, there's a video of Slash. And like, you hit a ramp, and then it just pulls up a concert footage of, you know, him, the dude hitting his drums or something. Like, it doesn't mean anything or do anything, so it's like, what's the point of it? Those are the ones that I don't necessarily care for. I'm like, that doesn't add anything to the table, so I get rid of it. Or I just never download them. I'd have to download them to see them, and then I realize they're garbage. Not garbage, not my personal preference. Again, my machine, I'll do whatever I want with it. I'll put on this, I'll put on that, I'll remove this. Do you know what I mean? You customize it and make it your own. Here's a silly question, but can you play these tables with 4 players? Is that a feature that needs to be programmed or already done? Okay, so I'm going to answer a silly question with a silly answer. That'll teach you. I couldn't show you because I've already started the game, but basically, and it's the same thing for the, yeah, like this guy with this loading screen, it's got a team viewer video right in the middle. Just looking to see if he's logged in, see who it is. But like that, I might re-record that. So, virtual pinball, I've got, so you can put coins in the coin door if you want, or you can hit a coin button, and you can see that I'm adding credits. So, just like a real machine, you hit start, I'm 1 player. You hit start, now you can see that there's 2 players. You hit start, now there's 3 players. You hit start, now there's 4 players. So, yes, by default, if the original machine allowed for 4 players, then the virtual machine is going to allow for 4 players. Unless the author has modified it, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, generally speaking, unless it's been modified, if there was a pinball machine, and we're going way back to like the EMs and stuff, like if there was a machine that was only set up that only ever had 1 or 2 players, I don't think they've converted them so that you can play those in 4 players. They might have done that. They may or may not call that a mod, a 4-player mod or something. But generally, the goal is to recreate the table as authentic as humanly possible, right? So, you know, where you see all these different nuts bolting down, different things like that, it's probably because those actually exist on the real table. Unless, again, it's a mod table. People like authenticity. People who own a Monster Bash want to be able to look at this and say, it's not the real thing, but wow, they got a lot of the details right. Like, those screw heads are there, or, do you know what I mean? Like, it'd be really cool if there was an error machine. Like, let's say in Monster Bash, every single one of them was shipped without a certain bolt in place, and then they actually recreated that. That'd be kind of cool, but it's meant so that what was there originally is what's there now. So same thing on, if you were playing on the MAME arcades. So I've had customers call me up and they're like, hey, I'm playing Donkey Kong. Why is the second joystick not do anything? Well, it's because Donkey Kong, the original arcade machine, was a 2-player game, but it only ever came with 1 joystick. So player 1 steps up, he plays his game, he dies, his life is over. player 2 would step up to the machine and use the player 1 joystick because there's only one joystick. So even though it's a 2-player game, everyone uses the same joystick, right? Same thing with Golden Tee. You don't need 2 trackballs to play 2-player Golden Tee. Everyone uses the same trackball. That type of thing. So if it wasn't a 2-player game to begin with, it's not going to magically be a 2-player game. On this, if it's a 4-player game, it's going to be a 4-player game. That's a 5-minute question, or a 5-minute answer to a quick question. So a 1-player game must have a mod done to convert it into a multiplayer game. If that exists. Again, I don't know off the top of my head, like, or else I'd show you. If someone happens to know, or if anyone cares, let's Google, because hopefully I can do it quick. Invert paint. So I was questioning Unpainter. This is going back to the long ago. I said, how many times do you have to paint for the UN? Or how did you originally get to be a painter for the UN? And he's like, no, he unpaints. So he doesn't paint, he unpaints. I thought he was the UN painter. Abracadabra. Okay, so right now we are checking if, golden arrow, okay, we are going to see, I don't want to install a billion tables. Okay, where's my back glass? Where's my back glass? There's no B2. Yeah, I get that, but that's not where we opened it from. Or is it? Here's the problem. I've got all these files on a separate hard drive, so then I'm trying to open it up, and it's looking for these backglasses on the separate hard drive. It goes and mucks with my setup. So thanks for asking this question. You're mucking with my setup, Rob. Control level. Abra. Okay. Tables. Now I'm on the C drive. Now I'm going to type in abracadabra. Now it's going to work. We're going to figure it out. We're going to find out the answer. There we go. One player machine. So the problem with making this one, even if they wanted to make a mod, so what they would have to do is they would have to modify the backglass, because obviously the backglass only shows one screen, right? Or one score. So to answer your question, most likely not. This is a one-player machine. That's why it's a one-player machine now. If someone cared that much, they might make a mod to this to make it multiple players. I could be wrong. I'd like to hear someone's opinion on it, or if there's a statistic. I don't know how many people actually spend time playing these EM games, especially once, you know, like newer ones have come out. I think it's more for the people that grew up playing these machines, have nostalgia for them. Like if you grew up in this machine, Abracadabra, just took all your quarters growing up. Well, of course you're going to have it on your V-pin, right? But like, okay, so it's got 2 pop bumpers and then a bunch of drop targets. Like, it's pinball, but it's also pinball from, like, I think this was the 70s. It's also 50 years old. Like, there's been so many technological advancements in that period of time that there's just more fun tables, in my opinion. But again, it's because I didn't grow up playing pinball 24/7. Gorgar is my shit. I think I've got Gorgar on here. Maybe not. It depends on how much I like the game. Again, so Gorgar, to the best of my knowledge, is an EM machine. I don't have a ton of EMs on here, only because I don't play EM tables. Do I even have a single G game? Gorgar, Ghost. And for people that see Ghostbusters on there, I promise I don't have Ghostbusters. That's not there. Yeah, so I don't have Gorgar on here, which is fine. There's a bunch of good games, though, that are old. Yeah, I'm not saying they're bad games, it's just they're not ones that I particularly pay a lot of attention to. Like, I think I got Bally Kiss, which is like a 79 or something on here. I think I have Playboy. Pinbot's 86. Yeah, I basically... Yeah, so this is an older one. So it's 4 players, so Pink Panther. You can kind of see from the video here, like it's the horseshoe shape. You shoot it up, and it goes down, and it beeps and boops, and there's no music and stuff like that. They're fine. It's still pinball. Do you have TX Sector? If that's the name of the game, then it might be on my secondary hard drive, but I don't have it installed because I've never heard of it, so I don't know what it is. It's kind of the same thing. Like, I don't know. I bet you people have the same complaint. Kids that grow up now and they're playing Fortnite, can't really say Minecraft because that visually looks like an old game even though it's not. You know, Call of Duties and all that stuff. Like, if it wasn't popular because it was retro, but like, if you go and you stick Mario 1 in front of the average person that's never played it or never heard of it, which would be hard, they're going to be like, why do I want to play this? I'm going to go play Call of Duty. Do you know what I mean? Or there's some games that hold up because there's retro nostalgia for them. Like, Doom is always going to be popular just because it's Doom. Even though the video quality of it doesn't hold up anymore. Same thing with Mario, like Mario 1. Data, extra tables, TX Sector. I do! Check that out. Better be good. Better knock my socks off. That game has good sounds. Well, then I have to turn my sounds on. TX Sector. Gottlieb! I'm potentially looking at getting a Gottlieb. We'll see how that goes. Even though I was told Gottlieb was crap. Wow. So here's the other thing potentially with these EMs. So some of them are not bad because there's not a lot to scan. This one has gotten no love probably since it first came out. I don't know how well you can see it, but like the playfield is, I'm not gonna call it crap. Someone spent time to build this the first time, but it was like, it was probably in 2014. Like this looks like a JPEG that's been compressed and uncompressed about 50 times. So like the flippers and stuff look great, but the actual playfield, it's like looking at it with your glasses off. Like it's. So yeah, this actually wouldn't be too bad of a game in the sense like, so you can. I don't have my hand on the machine, that's why I suck. You can tell that there's something to do, like you have to advance. You can see that you're level 1 and you got to get up to like level 9. The gutter is like 6 inches wide. I'm not entering my initials. That was terrible. I don't even think it's called a gutter. It shows you how much I... Okay, this is a lot better than Abracadabra. This is actually... Holy shit. Okay, I'm going to concentrate this time. I don't know if the flipper physics are just terrible, but like... Which is possible, because like I said, this table's... Okay. I score... I can't get the ball to play for more than 5 seconds. This isn't me. This is actually... I think it's the table. I'm going to say it's the table. We're going to try once more. Okay, we're going to try and beat 26,000. Or in another thing. We're going to be at the table for more than 15 seconds. That's my goal. Oh, the flippers are so slow. Yeah, because this wouldn't be a fast flips table. So basically, this table just hasn't been updated in so long. It's basically unplayable. Is what my complaint is with it. So I tried to nudge and hit the flipper, but by the time my flipper went, the ball's already down. Like, it's unplayable. Unplayable. It's too old and it hasn't been updated. It's unplayable. But it's there. It actually does sound pretty cool. It's got pretty decent music. I don't know if it's called chiptune, like it's old retro sounding music. Actually wouldn't be a bad game if they updated it. It's not terrible. It's got, you know, things that you can do on it. I almost bought a Gottlieb Street Fighter 2. I saw that there's a Street Fighter 2 for sale right now. I don't know if it's worth what it's worth. I actually haven't played Street Fighter. Let's see if I have it on here. Street... No. Yeah, because there's a Street Fighter 2 table. Let's go. Cue Ball Wizard. Golly. Oh, I actually have this on Visual Pinball 9 and Visual Pinball 10. Which means I haven't updated this hard drive in a while. So I'm pulling this up only because there's a chance I might grab this machine. Start talking. Okay, let's turn the sound down. Oh man. I wonder if that's the same. Let me just check if that's function F9. No, that's it, 60 frames a second. I'm gonna have to check this on my 120 recording. Because I would love that ball, you know what, it actually looks smoother on, I'm looking at it on my stream. It looks way smoother on stream than it does in real life. And it's not because of frame skipping, it's just, I don't know. Cue ball wizard. So here's something I learned. I'm just going to little history lesson. So supposedly this dude in the background is meant to be Clint Eastwood, but they can't actually show Clint Eastwood because they don't have it licensed. But the call-outs are meant to sound like Clint Eastwood. So it's meant to be a Clint Eastwood table, even though it's not Clint Eastwood. Oh, that might look worse at 120 Hz. Okay, this table is not good to play in virtual. Only because this thing is, the cue ball is, or the cue is oscillating back and forth. But like, you literally see every like 5th frame. It's hard to watch. But the neat thing about this table is, these are actual pool balls, right? So your pinball goes and interacts with the actual cue ball. And I watched some videos on it. It actually smacks the cue ball around like that, believe it or not. It's a real cue ball with a real, like it's weighted the same. You can put your own balls in it. So if you wanted to mod your table, you could put it so that it's a 9 ball and a, I don't know, an 8 and a 9 ball if you wanted, or whatever you want. Spell double. So there's some neat video modes I heard that are in this, and oh, there's a post in the middle. So sometimes it's best not to nudge if the ball's coming right down the middle, because it's got a post that can help save the ball, which I didn't notice. Oh, we got a multi-ball coming up for some strange reason. I guess I have to plunge both. So it's too bad this isn't great as a virtual table. I might try to ignore that and just look at it, because I do want to see if this is a table worth buying. Could you make setting adjustments to this game to make it smoother? Is that not possible? Let's check the script. We are going to answers maybe. Again, like, I just have a feeling it's not the most let's check VP9X. Okay, I have a feeling that this is a direct not translates the word, a direct mod from VP9 into VP10, which means if someone just converted it from VP9 to VP10, VP9 is like, it's just outdated technology. Do you know what I mean? So it's just not good. So then if all they did was do a straight port from VP9 into VP10, you're just making shit look slightly better. So I have a feeling, considering VP9, this version came out in 2010. Well, what kind of updates have we had in our technology of visual pinball in the last 12 years? The answer is significant, right? Cue Ball Wizard came out in 92, 4 players. So there's a chance that this is just, like, no one has cared about updating this table. Cue Ball Wizard. Well, they call it Premiere and not Gottlieb. Interesting. 1992, 38. I can tell by the size of the file, 40 megabytes. Okay, extra tables. Cue Ball. Oh, here's what it says, Cue Ball Wizard work in progress. Let's move that one over. It could also be that I just have a non-updated version. Hopefully this will pick up the back glass. I'm hoping. Q. Oh my goodness. Q. Control open. Q. Ball Wizard BPX. I want all my tables to run smoothly. Well, yes, that's... Everyone wants their machines to run smoothly. So again, it just happens, like, it 1,000 times different already. So I can tell you just by the look of the machine. So again, I can tell this is not a 4K transformation on some of the stuff. Like the apron, it's a little bit it's not perfectly clear. Same thing with the table. It looked a lot better than the other one. You can actually see reflections on the cue ball and stuff like that. What I should have done is looked at the flips. I went and opened this to see, hey, is it running at 60 frames a second? Yes. Okay, so it still doesn't have fast flips enabled, I don't think. So I'd have to change that in the script if possible. The answer is it's better, but it's not. So dramatically better than the other one. I can tell. The ball looks massive, the cue ball though. So let's see in the script. So again, just as a tip, where is my mouse? Where is my mouse? Where is my mouse? There it is. Frack. Frack. What am I going to do? I think my mouse is on the way out. I think my mouse is on the way out. Okay, go into the scripts. Let's see what this stuff says. Yeah, so sometimes you can go into the scripts. Basically, your first step is always just go and see if there's a newer version of the table that's out. So this one is so old it doesn't have what's called fast flips. You might be able to just change it in the script. You just change, I believe it's something that says like solenoid, and you change it from 1 to 0, or from 0 to 1 or something like that, or 1 to 2. It's been a while because most people have just updated it, and they update it for fast flips, they don't put it in there. But when I was flipping my flipper, it was showing a 20 millisecond lag, and it should be down to like somewhere between 0 and 2 milliseconds. So again, when you're flipping your flipper, it's just, well, how realistic is it? In these older tables that don't get updated, it's pretty painful. Especially if you've been used to playing tables without lag. So again, I would just call it, this is just a table that's slightly outdated. It needs to be updated, or maybe it already is updated and I just don't have it updated. Let's see, website, more messages. Yeah, I think, I don't know. If anyone doesn't have any questions, I think I might save some of the tutorials for when I actually have a better setup. So one of the things that that someone wanted to see was, how do you set up MAME on the V-pin? So I am not a fan of hooking up joysticks to my visual pinball machines, in the sense that I don't want joysticks coming out the top of my apron, right? Like, if I want to play arcade, I'm going to go play it on arcade. If I want to play pinball, I'm going to play it on a pinball. But there are a few games that you can get away with that you can just play with the flipper buttons. The first one I can think of is Galaga, because you can have your flippers going left and right, because it's just a left and right game, and then you just have your digital nudge buttons to shoot. So Galaga is a perfect game that would run absolutely fine on a V-pin, and I think it would look cool, because you got your playfield, it's vertical, you got your back glass and stuff like that for your, your dynamic marquee and stuff like that. So I am looking to implement that. And then a guy on the internet just said, hey, do you mind doing a video for that? So I will. It won't happen tonight because I didn't plan for it. I did download MAME and stuff like that, but again, what I think I need to do is get Streamlabs going on my 120 machine, because I spent more time on that hard drive now that there's going to be less bugs and less errors, and I can run visual pinball without having to close it and reload it. Every time I want to load a game, I can just close it. Like, I don't have to close it. I can just refresh the table. Yeah, so I think I'll do that. But I see that there's a couple people that are watching the stream, or were watching at least. If you do have a question, feel free to ask a question. If not, then I will probably shut things down. And, yeah, I'll try, you don't have it, I want to, you don't have it on there. I don't know what that's about. What do you mean, Rob? I don't have it on there. Maybe I should say Schultz. R. Schultz, 17. I don't know what your first name is, R. Schultz. 17. No idea who you are. You don't have it on there. What don't I have on here? I'm not sure what you meant. Or maybe he meant MAME. No, I don't. If you're talking about MAME, no, I don't have it on here yet. It's there. It can get put on there. And I know, so people are going to want, so for example, other stuff that I can show, again, I don't know how well I'm going to be able to do it from scratch. Again, I can show people how to set up like surround sound feedback. Things like, where are we here? Equal. Check it out. Sorry, I am trying to figure out something. Equalizer APO. God, you're killing me, sister. You're killing me. Oh, why is this so difficult? I hate this computer. Anyways, so there's a program called Equalize. Okay, let's see some data east Jurassic Park. The main Galaga. No, so I don't have Galaga on here. I will get it on. I will get it on and I'll show you. So let's see some data east Jurassic Park. The messages are delayed on the phone. Messages are delayed on the phone. I don't know what that means. It's talking in code. Talking in code. Messages are delayed on the phone. Jurassic Park, data east. I think I have 2 versions of this. I don't know if I have both installed. EFGHIJ. I might try to spell. So I don't. Indiana Jones, unpainted. I hate that middle shot when it bounces straight back to the drain. VPin Workshop just came out with Indiana Jones, the Pinball Adventure. I don't know who did this one. The original one, which is on this cab. I've got Pinball Adventure on the other one, the VPin Workshop. VPin Workshop, guys, if you aren't downloading VPin Workshop tables, holy crap. Their stuff is insane. Insane. The amount of detail and quality in their tables is just nuts. And they're awesome with their scripts. They put so much stuff in their scripts for people to play around with. Do I want side blades? Do I want arts with it? Do I want these color flippers? Do I want, like, they let you change everything. All your different lighting settings, like if you want it, like if you want a retro look and like everything kind of has like a purple kind of look to it, like they have all kinds of different stuff that they change. They're just nuts. But there's only so many of them and they can only work so quickly. I don't think their goal is to recreate every table that's out there, but they do a lot of the in-demand tables and they're just awesome. I did want to complain. I mentioned this and I said, hey, you know what? So it was on Taxi, and I was just like, this stuff doesn't look that great. Like the light in, I don't know what they're called. The pieces of glass, like where it says 2-ball play up here, the pieces of glass where the light sits under, and then the light hits it and then it lights it up. When the light's not on it, it looks terrible. And like Santa, he's in blackface versus white, like, and I just thought it looked terrible. And they're like, have you ever seen an original machine? That's exactly what it looks like. And then I looked like at an original Taxi and I'm like, yeah, like, I don't think it looks great, but it looks exactly like the friggin' table does. Like, it's kind of like the guy who recreated it originally. He probably modified things and, hey, I think this Santa looks better, like I drew it better, and the lights I drew differently and stuff, but VPin Workshop was spot on with the stuff, even though I didn't think it looked as great. So this one you can see I've got a colored DMD, which is pretty cool. I haven't played this one a ton, but played it quite a bit. Anyways, you got your skill shot. This one rumbles the crap out of your shaker motor. Like if you have a shaker motor, this just goes nuts. Smart. And I'm already dead. This machine was next to Mortal Kombat in the arcade I went to as a kid. Cool. I wish I did. I don't have a ton of nostalgic memories with pinball machines. The only time I really played them was at Cineplex Odeon on Fairway Road by Fairview Park Mall. And to be honest, I can't even tell. Fuck's sakes, I can't even tell you which machines I played. I know Frederick Bowling had an AC/DC machine, and it was fairly late in their life too. Like it might have been like when Spider-Man 1 came out, like in the 2000s. I think they had an AC/DC machine. Mind you, I don't know when AC/DC came out. That might only be a 5-year-old machine at the time. So I just remembered I loved playing pinball. Like I just thought it was really, really cool. I remember playing it at Zappers and stuff. Holy shit, I'm getting terrible bounces. Only certain tables have the color DMD. Yes. So maybe you weren't around at the beginning. So I was showing the color DMDs. So first off, someone, as far as I know, by hand has to redraw all the different scenes and like plug in like, hey, I want this to be red, I want this to be that. So it's basically almost like creating pixel art. They're redrawing every frame of ROM animation. Someone's doing that, let's just say it's by hand, even though it's digitally. So it takes a ton of work. A ton of work. Whoops. So yeah, there's not one for every table. If I had to guess, I would say that there's maybe between 50 and 100 tables. 100 is probably too much. 50 for sure. That has the color DMDs. I don't think it's as easy. I could be completely wrong. There might be an easy way around it. Like if there was a table that already had color DMDs, like I think it's called Pin 2 DMD or whatever. Like if the original creator, or let's say a modifier, if they created one for an actual pinball machine, then maybe there's a way to rip that ROM and now you just have a color ROM. I'm not sure if that's how it works. I have a feeling it's someone drawing it by hand. So again, you have to find someone from the community that's willing to take their time to do that kind of stuff. And if they're doing it on more popular tables like this. This is actually an amazing game. If I could ever find this at a reasonable price, I don't think there's a person that would pass on this machine. It probably breaks quite a bit. That T-Rex, I'm sure, breaks on a daily basis, which would be slightly annoying. Yeah, so Schultz, if you watch the replay of the stream or whatever you want to call it, the first thing I did in terms of a tutorial was I talked about the Altcolor. Oh yeah, because you were around for Altsound, because we were talking about the different tables having different sound packs. Well, it's kind of the same thing with Altcolor. Like, you can get colorized versions of the ROMs, but only if it exists. If someone's created it, kind of like the Altsound. If it's there, then it's there and you can change it if you like it. If it's not there, then do it yourself, which no one's gonna do. Someone does it, but that's every maker's default answer. Like, oh, does this exist? They're like, nope, but if you want it, do it yourself. But unfortunately, not everyone has the talent to do some of this stuff. Like, the guys that recreate these tables and stuff, there's a lot of love and talent, and dedication and time that goes into these things. I didn't know. I like this one, but the new one, honestly, I don't like. I haven't gotten to play the new one. I saw the Pinballers, they had it, and I went to one of the guys on Facebook. Sean? Yeah, I don't know what the consensus is on that one overall. I think, like every pinball table, you're going to find things that you like and things that you don't. And if you've got a taste for a certain type of machine, like in all honesty, like the new machines, like I've never played a new Stern one with the full DMDs. I'm sure they're awesome. I'm sure they're great. And it's mainly because of COVID, or else I'd be at tilt all the time and stuff like that. I just haven't been able to get out and do that stuff. But those machines, I'm sure they're great, but in all honesty, like Monster Bash, it's not a deep game. And same thing with Attack from Mars, Medieval Madness. Like those are the machines that I like the most, and they're pretty basic. There's a thing in the middle that you shoot for, and you do that a bunch of times, kind of like Attack from Mars. Okay, you got to defeat the UFOs, and then there's shooting all the ramps and the orbits and stuff like that. And if you do that, then you get, you know, that starts a wizard mode. Kind of the same thing with the machine you have. What am I talking? Roller Coaster Tycoon, right? Like it's not a super deep rule set. You know what you have to do, and you got to defeat these 6 things, and then you get to wizard mode, and then you do it all over again. Well, Monster Bash takes it one further because you've got 6 things that you have to do, but then there's another 6 things you have to do, which are like the 6 ramps and orbits and mosh pit spinner and stuff like that, right? Monster Bash is great. Monster Bash is probably my favorite. Medieval Madness is good too. I've been playing a lot of Monster Bash. I was playing it on FX3, and I just happened to pick it up. This is when I got my 120 hertz. And I just picked it up and set a score that was double my best score. So I haven't beaten my best score again on VPX, which isn't great for people that actually play it. I think I'm at 328 million, somewhere around there. Maybe 360. I think I set a high score, but then I didn't save the ROM file, so it's gone. But on the FX3 version, I've gotten wizard mode twice in the same game, I think. Yeah, so I think what I need to do is, for next time, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it in time for next time, because I'm submitting artwork tomorrow, and then I've got machines. I've got 2 pinball machines and 2 arcades I need to build next week, so I'm going to be busy. But what I need to do is get Streamlabs or whatever it's called over onto my 120 pin, so I can stream off that. Again, just because the setup's better, it looks better, everything about that machine is better, the computer is better, so it'll stream nicer and all that stuff and less glitchy. But I'm not a big streamer. I don't have things all set up. My brother-in-law was showing me all kinds of stuff with Streamlabs, how instead of getting it to run off Streamlabs, you get it to run off a website or something so that it doesn't have to load objects. It can just load it from a website, and it makes it faster and easier to switch. Anyway, all the shit went over my head. People talking about bits and bytes and all this stuff on streams. I don't know any of that stuff. I know what a follower is. And I thank people when they say, hey, I followed you. Because I don't even have things that pop up on my screen that say, hey, you got a new follower. But yeah. And then, like, eventually, I don't know, it'd be nice if I could actually have time to just stream online too. I really, really want to find local people that have pinball machines or something like that and have, I don't know what you want to call it, league night? Do you know what I mean? Where you play at people's houses and you go and you tour and you go to different people's houses and stuff like that. And then if people have multiple machines, then you can kind of run like mini tournaments, or at least, you know, not everyone's just standing around waiting to play one machine, and you got a really good guy that's got 20-minute turns. So that's kind of the neat thing about the virtual machines, is I'm going to have, like, I'll probably always have 2 or 3 on the floor, right? So even if you get people over and you're doing a tournament, if you're all playing the same table, you can have 3 machines playing the same machine. Or you can have 3 machines playing 3 different machines. Or you can have 2 machines playing 2 different games, and the 3rd machine is a practice machine, and you can go and practice any of the games that you were running in the tournament. So the V-Pins are really, really good for tournament players and stuff like that, because you can practice all the different, you gotta go to London. I know! So again, I gotta see if they're open. Like, well, we've got more restrictions now in Ontario and stuff, so I don't know what's all open with all the COVID restrictions and stuff. I can see that my smart bombs are on my Magna save. Whoops! Try ball. Okay, I drained and then somehow into multi-ball. Yeah, so I do need to get to that. So I was from Waterloo originally, and I know Waterloo opened up. I don't know if it's also called Tilt. I don't know if they're the same company, just different places, but they also have a couple pinball. No, it's called Pinup Bar, I think. So yeah, so I'm lucky that I've got a couple pinball places that are 40 minutes for me and stuff like that. Maple's a little bit far, but I'll make it out to Maple someday and come visit. Pinball is closed. Yeah, there you go. So I can't play anyways. So that's why you need to get a visual pinball machine. So that you can still go and play on 50, 60 different tables, even though you only have one machine in your basement. Yeah, it sucks that pinball's closed. Fuck. Yeah, so this is so I would say that this machine, I could be wrong, is slightly deeper in terms of play than, let's say, like a Monster Bash or something. At least it looks like at first glance, because we've got all these different, mind you, not all of them are modes, let's say, but you've got all these different, I'm going to call them modes at the beginning. Like, well, what are all those ones? And then there's these T-Rex things on the left. So anyways, those are games that I probably enjoy more. Like, you can read the rule set, but it's somewhat, let's say, like fairly intuitive in terms of what you need to do. Like, no one looks at Monster Bash and says, well, crap, I've got no idea what to do. Like, you go and you shoot a ramp a certain amount of times, Frankenstein gets lit, and then Frankenstein lights up on the playfield, and you see that 6 guys aren't lit. Oh, okay, I gotta light each monster. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's... Whereas when you're playing some of the newer Sterns and stuff, I'm sure they make it somewhat easy to follow. I'm sure it's there, but it could just be that there's just a lot more stuff. Like Batman 66, if you've ever played Batman 66, it's fairly easy in the method that there's only certain things you can do, but there's so many modes. Like, there's just so many modes. Like, I think between your main 1, 2, 3, 4 villains, I think there's 3 modes each, I think. And then there's all like the secondary villains, and there might be, I don't even know. I'm probably not over exaggerating if I say there's 20 modes there. I don't know if someone could get through that whole game. Let's pull it up quick for my whole one person that's watching. I think I have it running on this machine. Batman 66 Stern. So this one came out, seems like not that long ago, but it's actually, I think it came out in July in terms of visual pinball. And I can't name everyone that made it. The Fishbowl, I know, has got his name on it. Outside of that, I can't think of a lot of the other creators. But holy crap, does this look good. So this is a Stern table, but they did not emulate the Stern ROM. This is all just pup packs, and I can't remember what he said, 52,000 lines of code or something. Like, it's just nuts the amount of effort that went into this. So let me see, there was something that... Surf's Up Joker. Okay, so there was this, so like if you hold down the one flipper, you can see that you can part the Joker is wild, Surf's Up Joker under 2 parts. Like you can flip between the mode, okay, so that's for Joker. And then there's Riddler, I'm going to pick this one. And then there's hers, okay, I'm going to pick this one. So even if there's modes that you've never seen, you can go in, because you're not good enough to get to, let's say, the second set of modes, you can, when you launch the ball, change the mode beforehand. Oops, I forgot that wasn't a hit skill shot anyways. Yeah, like the amount of, holy smokes, like this table is crazy good. Just the amount of stuff that you can do, the amount of detail and stuff that they put into it. I don't know if this is the newest version, because obviously when they put out a game like this, they go through all the beta tests and stuff like that, and then they launch to the public, and then they just let it sit for a while, and then the public's like, hey, this, these are major like game-breaking bugs and all this other stuff, so they put out new things. Or maybe there's just things where they're like, hey, we needed to hit a certain deadline, and we weren't able to get this done. The crane mechanic, or something like that, right? as far as I know, because and there's something I don't know if they fixed it or if they want to fix it. I guess with the original machine, the ball gets trapped up in that turntable all the time supposedly, and on the digital machine, the ball gets trapped up there all the time. So I don't know if that's something that. So I know they put it in there intentionally. I don't know if that's something that they ever plan on quote unquote fixing. I don't know if that's going to be something that is going to end up in the script where they're going to say, hey, do you want a hard turntable or an easy turntable? Because some people they like changing things. And again, because it's a virtual machine and you can do stuff, like a lot of times there's things that you can set to like easy mode. Hey, do you want these, the out lanes on easy versus hard, right? So sometimes they might have like a little post in the out lane and they just move it a little bit closer so it's harder for the ball to go down. And it makes people feel good because now they can, they're on the table for 15 minutes rather than 2 minutes. Do you know what I mean? For me, the right out lanes in almost every game is the bane of my existence. Mm-hmm. I drain out the right out lane more than anything. And I think it was this game. When I die, it's the right out lane every single time. Yeah. Anyways, kind of just wanted to show off that table a bit. But I think it was this table, because I used to play it a lot. But it would go off the slingshots, and then the slingshot would just shoot it straight down the out lane. And I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. Yeah, but like, that's so cool with I forget what it's called. That is part of the Batmobile. I forget what that's called, where it shows the score and stuff like that, like just score match analyzer. Anyways, really cool. This table, I couldn't say enough good stuff about it. It's freaking awesome. It probably helps if you like the Adam West Batman and stuff like that, which I do. I grew up watching this, but anyways, yeah, okay, well, 2 hours. I think I'm going to call that a day for the stream. Yeah, I don't know if I have emails and stuff on here. I don't know if you can leave messages. But I'm not hard to find. Woodstock Custom Arcades. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram and stuff like that. If people have ideas or thoughts or questions as to like, hey, can you cover this in a tutorial? Can you cover this? Can you show me how to fix this? I'm having problems with this or something like that. I can do that. Like I said, I think doing like a hardware one would be pretty cool. Like I said, going through and I would have to do it in parts. I can't do it all in one thing. But like, hey, here's how you set up surround sound feedback. Here's how you set up a shaker and a plunger and all that other stuff. DOF, that's something that people need to learn to set up if you ever want like lights and shaker motors and stuff like that. So that's something I can cover at some point as well. And I probably will do something more dedicated. You should make me a moderator for your stream. Potentially, I don't even know how to do that, but we can talk about it. I trust you enough that you're not going to go and do stupid stuff with it. So maybe... Sure, if we'll talk. You can let me know what that does and how that helps. Like I said, if I start streaming more, I know I need to look like other streamers in the sense like I gotta set up my screens properly. I gotta be using the right software. There's stuff I have to do. My business, which is this, takes up a ton of time, and I'm a one-man army and I only know what I know, and I can only be good at so much stuff. So, like when I was getting into 3D modeling, because I wanted to do 3D modeling for customers to show them their machine before they buy it, I had to learn Blender from scratch. When I started building cabinets and stuff like that, I had to learn CAD from scratch. So I had to, teach myself CAD design, and then I taught myself 3D modeling in Blender. Yeah, so everything takes time. I'm sure I can get streams up and running and making them look pretty like a lot of other people because a million people do it. It's just taking the time to get it done. So we'll see. And graphic design, like I design all my cabinets myself and stuff too. So a customer wants something, I go and custom design it. So I had to get good at graphic design. But yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I am probably going to save this or at least put it up on my YouTube so that people can see it. So if there was tutorials and stuff that people want to see. And again, hopefully then when I put it on there, they'll leave messages onto stuff people want to see in future videos, and then I can make more streaming content with it. Again, I think people get more value out of this than me just playing the tables all the time. But who knows? Again, I want people to Well, enjoy the night. Awesome. Thanks so much for coming, Shelty. Unpainter, if you're still there. Start streaming Mario again. Hunter wants to see some more Mario. He misses you. He doesn't see anymore. Great stream. Thanks. Thanks, buddy. I won't mention your name. Hunter misses you. Maybe later. Yeah. Take Mitch down. We need someone else to be the #1 Mario 3 player. Although it's a Canadian, but sub 11 or sub 12. I don't know what the Mario record is anymore. But anyways, yeah. All right. I'm lame now. We'll figure this out. Maybe you and I we can do a cooking channel. Who knows? Can't be a full-time gamer. Yeah, we all have real jobs. That's the thing. We've got time. All right, night, guys. Thank you very much for joining the stream. Peace out. Oh, I gotta.